First, we have our guest, who's Alistair, and he's an early crypto adopter, and he will talk to us about Bitcoin fundamentals that originally attracted him back in, I forgot what year he said, but he's going to re-say it again.
Very early, very early. Alistair's probably one of the earliest adopters that you will ever come across.
And the earliest droppers as well.
Unfortunately.
Thanks, guys. I very much got involved in kind of crypto by accident. There were the days before social media. The way that people got the information that they needed was either by Googling, but because the internet was still forming and there weren't so many niche topics that were online at the time, where you really got your niche knowledge were through forums. And so I was an avid use of forums. I love forums. I love to learn about loads of different topics, and that was kind of like my driving force. But then what you found is once you learned a certain amount of knowledge about a particular topic, you were then in a network with people that you could trade with because you knew things that the market didn't know about. And so you automatically became sort of like a mini expert in that field, and you knew enough to be able to now make money out of that field, whether you would like direct to consumer or selling on eBay or doing any one of these things. You now had like an inside track. And some of these people from forums, they'd be from all over the country or all over the world even. And as you start to join different forums, you'd find that they'd want ways to get paid from each other for services, for things that you do on the forums for each other, or for goods, or for things that they want to send you. And it was all wanting to be done very, very privately, because these people, everything that they were saying about their knowledge was on the forum. So they wanted to separate themselves from the identity of the information that they were putting out and have that layer of buffer, because that way they could be really, really personal without having to expose themselves online whereby anyone could just find them. So there were a bunch of different kind of payment services that you could use. One of the early ones was like eGold, and that was a way of sending someone gold online. They said that it was backed, and we don't really know what happened, but one day it just got busted. It had the FBI takedown notice. We don't know if it was real, but all of a sudden everyone's eGold was gone. And this was a pattern that kept on emerging. There were a few different payment providers that kept on coming out, and they get busted or they get shut down. One that got quite far was WebMoney, because WebMoney got used and integrated into Russian banks, whereby you could get $10,000 worth of WebMoney just cashed out just by going to your local bank, which was very convenient. So it became very, very easy to do business with Russia, and for Russia to take payments and send money back. And that became kind of an earlier adoption. WebMoney was very kind of interesting because they used cryptographic protocols to send the money and also to log in and keep your wallet secure. And that was one of the first kind of projects that did really, really well with the wallet system. However, the problem with that was it was all centralized. So it was all controlled by WebMoney. And if you had an issue with WebMoney, you would have to speak to WebMoney. And there were a lot of people that had their money locked in WebMoney accounts and couldn't get them out because they were slightly anonymous and they weren't able to prove that their money was theirs. And in return, they couldn't get their balances if they needed to, and they didn't have the tools and facilities to access and maintain control of their own funds. So then Bitcoin comes out, and it just accelerates everything massively, because now people can rely on the technology of everything being decentralized and be responsible for their own funds and participate and jump in and out anonymously. And that's progressed now to the point where these currencies that we've got now, like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin, if you look on, for example, Coinbase, you see the top major listed coins. They've got so much use now within them that they act more as a brokerage in between other small currencies that are coming out. So if we look at where we are now, from the period of now into the future, what we can say is we can say that the top layer is now being facilitated by coins like Bitcoin and Ether, And now development projects for new coins and tokens are being put out to allow faster, smoother, and more specific transactions into niche categories, which can then get traded back out into Bitcoin and to Ether as a currency pair. And you'll learn that sort of thing once you start to go into exchanges and see how the flow of funds exchange in and out. The exciting thing is you can see the total flow. So as a digital investor, you get so many more data points than investing out on the stock market, because you can actually see every point of the transaction. In order to be in that flow, all you have to do is hold coin. And then from that point, you can choose to either hold it and increase the value of your holding by doing nothing, just by people trading through that coin, or you can decide to take more laid risk as you want and decide to invest it in particular projects that you think may speed up in the short term, and then take your profits and trade them back into the coin to make money. So the way that things are going, it's a really, really exciting time. We're really just at the start of it, and there's a huge future ahead whereby anything that can be metered and formed as a form of value or currency will get turned into a coin at some point, and that they'll all get traded in through the main networks. So we can almost see Bitcoin and Ether as almost like the new form of digital stock exchange. So that's where we're at now. Look forward to any questions at the end of it. I'll answer any that come in, but yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, thank you so much, Alistair. That was really